India had sent over 90 drones over the airspace of Pakistan, and the Pakistani army fired at those drones and had those drones shut down. Those drones happened to be made in Tel Aviv in occupied Palestine. And of course, Modi and Benjamin Netanyahu are in cahoots. Both of them are colluding. And this attack on Pakistan has, without doubt, a Zionist hand. There is a Zionist hand in the rise of extreme Hindutva within India, and we have the Zionist hand in the right, for instance, here in the UK, that you find that there is a funding for such type of schemes in order to provoke violence provoke violence amongst communities. Now, the current war that is escalating between Pakistan and India, there is false propaganda on the side of the Indian media. And an example of this is where the night before last, Pakistan claimed they had downed 5 Indian jets. Those jets were made in France. And the Indian media rejected these claims strongly, claiming with regard to Pakistan that Pakistan is peddling false propaganda. Pakistan is presenting false images. Later, the next day, the Indian media, as well as other outlets, accepted the fact that Pakistan had actually downed 5 fighter jets that were made in France. Now, France perhaps constructed those jets very well, but the Indian pilots were not good enough to man those jets and were shot down by the anti-aircraft that Pakistan possesses. Now, in 2019, if you remember, when Pakistan shot down a fighter pilot and the fighter pilot was taken as a prisoner, subsequently the fighter pilot was released. That was taken as a sign of weakness from the Modi government and the Hindutva. And of course, you have these idiots like Owaisi from India, Asadullah Owaisi, some minister of India who claims to be a Muslim. Ostensibly, he's a Muslim, wearing a turban with the Indian flag and stating things like Pakistan Murdabad. And he has provoked. For instance, here's Asaduddin Owaisi's tweet. He says, "I welcome the targeted strikes by our defense forces on terrorist hideouts in Pakistan. The Pakistani deep state should be taught a lesson so that it never takes another step again. Pakistan's terror infrastructure should be destroyed." And this idiot writes, Jai Hind. Now, Mr. Jai Hind Owaisi, you khabith, before you support Indian terror in Kashmir, you should know that your Hindutva government did not target terrorist sites. It targeted our ancestral home in the area of Azad Kashmir. And here from Birmingham, there is a local imam, Maulana Anis, a real individual, whose house was one of the targets of your Indian shells. Those shells landed behind his home. He has posted pictures of where those shells landed. And Asaduddin, you call yourself Asaduddin. You should rename yourself as Baqaratuddin. You are Baqaratu Dinin, meaning not of Dinul Islam. Asaduddin Owaisi, you condone Indian terrorism across the borders of Pakistan. I have pictures. Maulana Anis wrote 4 bombs hit behind our house. May Allah protect our families and land. Exactly outside of his house. I have the picture here. That the house is there, as you can see. And where he's placed the circles, where we have placed the circles, that is the citizen sites. These are not terrorist sites, as you claim. So as this issue escalates, there is also the Indian army targeting the temple of the Sikhs in Pakistan, the birthplace of Guru Nanak. And then at the same time claiming that the Pakistani army was targeting Amritsar in order to evoke emotions within the Sikh community. When in reality, Pakistan has a policy, a very clear policy, that the Pakistani military never targets religious sites. Within the history of Pakistan's conflicts, Pakistan has never targeted religious sites. Pakistan does not target Hindu temples or Sikh temples and any holy sites belonging to any religious group. While the Hindutva army, the Indian army, has targeted a masjid, killing children, and claims to have killed terrorists. These are false claims. They are people from Kotli region in the northern area of Pakistani administered Kashmir. And within that Kotli area, people that we know, families that we would know. The community is tight-knit and everyone knows everyone. So these are not terrorists that are actually you are targeting. So we have updates with regard to the current war that is escalating, and I will give you some of those updates as well as my thoughts and sentiments with regard to what is occurring. For instance, we have updates with regard to this Thursday that India fired attack drones into Pakistan. This Thursday, killing at least two civilians. So Mr. Awesi, you are false in your claim that they are attacking terrorist sites. Additionally, at least 48 deaths have been reported, 32 of them in Pakistan, since India launched missiles on Wednesday that it said targeted terrorist camps. And Pakistan retaliated with a barrage of artillery strikes. Now, of course, there is much news. For instance, Pakistan's military 12 minutes ago said tensions are spiraling. That is what the Pakistani military has said. Throughout the day, we have heard from Pakistan military spokespeople that this is an escalation which seems to be spiraling because at least 4 military personnel have also been wounded. In the province of Punjab, schools have been closed for the next 48 hours. Tens of thousands of people have been affected as airports have been shut and the stock market has also been affected. People here are telling us about how concerned they are about recent developments. Additionally, the US State Department, US remaining engaged with both governments. Now, we know the US government in reality is a warmonger. The US policy in Yemen is clear to all. The US policy in Palestine, occupied Palestine, is clear to all. So they are claiming that they want a de-escalation. What they mention, we want the perpetrators to be held accountable and are supportive of any efforts to that end. Also, the Hindu journalists, they state that in my entire life, I have never seen anything like this. So a senior journalist based in Jammu city has, and they claim it's in India, of course, all of Kashmir must be freed. And what is mentioned has told Al Jazeera that in the drone attacks in Jammu India administered Kashmir were unprecedented. These are drone attacks that India claims Pakistan has made over what is referred to as Indian airspace. The situation is calmer now, but from around 8 to 9 p.m. local time, that is 2:30 GMT time, there was a total blackout, chaos and fear all across Jammu city. Electricity has been restored in some parts of the city. Now let me tell you something. The shelling that occurs in Kashmir from time to time, there is shelling that occurs. This has occurred prior to this current war. It occurs on the line of control between Indian occupied Kashmir and Free Kashmir. On that line of control, they exchange fire. The Indians are not so moral in their shelling because they know that the people who are on the other side of the line of control are Muslims. The Pakistani army, however, is careful how it shells on the other to the other side, because they know the residents on the line of control are actually Muslims for the majority. They are Muslims. So what we see now is that India indiscriminately fires artillery across the border of Pakistan, while Pakistan has always been, historically speaking, much more careful in how they direct their firing and their shells across the line of control. So, and this is, we know from first-hand sources, meaning people who live in the region, people who live in Kotli, people who live in Pimbar, people who live in those regions, relatives and tribal links, people that we know. This is first-hand information. So historically speaking, Pakistan was much more careful in how they shelled across the line of control, because they knew that the residents across the line of control are actually Muslims, while India is much more hazardous in how they launch strikes across the line of control. Additionally speaking, the Pakistani army has seen to the wounded in the side of Kashmir in the past, whether that be in the 1965 war or any other war. This has happened in the past. The Pakistani army has been much more better in its in how it treats the people of Kashmir under their administration, unlike the Indian army. The Indian army is known for its war crimes. For every 10 citizens, they have a soldier, to not to administer their side of Kashmir, but to actually occupy Kashmir. And they have tortured many Kashmiris, imprisoned them, and have contained the Kashmiris. Ever since 2019, there has been a clear containment of Kashmiris. The Kashmiris have been contained, and it's one of the largest prisons on earth, while Gaza is the largest concentration camp on earth. Now, Pakistan in this current war, and this is, I'm reading from the Independent here, in this current war, Pakistan is much more truthful than India in this current war. Now, unlike Indians, unlike you Indians, unlike Bakratu, Deen al-Hunud, Awesi, unlike these type of individuals, we Pakistanis and Kashmiris, we can criticize Pakistan openly. We have much more freedom of speech. People who come from a Kashmiri or a Pakistani heritage, or people who live in Pakistan, have much more freedom of speech than what Modi's India gives to its people. So people are critical of the army, but they also observe the merit of the army in terms of the current conflict. That the way we can criticize the army, we have that freedom to do so. We also have the open eye to see the merit of the army, while the Indians are only prone to disinformation. So this is why Pakistan's information minister accuses India of spreading disinformation. So he states Pakistan's information minister has rejected reports that Pakistan attacked Indian administered Kashmir. So this is a lie that the Hindutva extremists have spread, that Pakistan is attacking civilians in Indian occupied Kashmir. Additionally, in a post on X, Ataullah Attarar said Pakistan has not targeted any locations in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir or across international borders so far. Neither has any loss incurred by PAF. He then went on to accuse India of spreading misinformation. Indian media is always spreading disinformation, either to craft a fake notion of success before publicly accepting their embarrassing losses during their unprovoked aggression on the 6th of May 2025. So this article, by the way, is written by Alisha Rahman Sarkar in Delhi, Marusha Muzaffar. And what it states, X accuses, X meaning Twitter, accuses India of censorship. So all these Indian trolls, you should listen to these. Twitter accuses India of censorship after receiving order to block more than 8,000 accounts in the country, including leading news organizations. Is that clear? That India is spreading misinformation according to Twitter, according to Mr. Elon Musk, a Zionist, an ally of India. So there is also a claim that India has accused Pakistan of attempting a drone attack, while Islamabad has said it has shot down drones launched from India. There is much more truthful statements within the Pakistani media and amongst the Pakistani people in this war, that there is much more to be said in terms of the landmass of Pakistan being less. But we will also go through the other updates that are